Alright, so I said I would do an update to my previous video about my airsoft rifle, and so here it is. So I'm just going to go over some of the changes I've made, some of the improvements I made, and just some of the styling features that I've done to change it up a little bit, and just, I like changing up things. So to start off, the biggest update that we did was the wraith CO2 stock. This is made by Wolverine. I mentioned that I was looking forward to this in my previous video. And so there it is. It's installed. Did all the customization to get it on. I also bought the dual air sourcing kit. So I have the wraith with CO2 cartridges. So if I take off this cap here, see, allows me to have CO2 cartridges in it. And then I also have it so I can use an air tank if I want to. So I thought that was pretty innovative. I really like it. When installing it, the one issue that I mentioned in another video was that I couldn't use my Magpul ASAP sling plate. So their solution was to use a longer bolt that they use for their SR25 style. And so basically, this is the bolt. This is the original one. The SR25 is a little bit longer so that it can reach all the way in and I can get the bolt on while using this plate, because the original plate actually goes around the buffer tube. It's hard to see. While the Magpul one, the buffer tube sits up against it. So there it is. Got my ASAP on there. Really happy about that. So next, going down, one of the other changes I made was, going back to the dual airline source kit, it came with in-grip fitting. So previously, I had customized a base plate here on my old grip, and then I JB welded the original fittings that came with the SMP right into it. And this one, with this grip, with the clone of the Magpul grip, it actually threaded in. I didn't have to use any screws or drill it out, so that was nice. I'm also, since I have the buffer tube on there, I'm running the battery inside of my grip, and I switched up from the original trigger board. Let's see if I can find it here. So right here, this is the original trigger board, and then I ran an FCU. Now I have the Spartan Edition, which is basically a unit that sits in here, and I can program it by using my trigger instead of programming it with the FCU that was external. I actually like that. It's a little bit easier to use, a lot faster in programming it. Really like it. So moving down, I got rid of a lot of the Magpul stuff that I had, just because I found with my hand it was starting to ache a little bit. So I put this on. This is like a clone of a BCM gunfighter. Has all the features to it. So you got the cap down here, so you can put batteries or whatever in here. It also has a slight angle on it, unlike the Magpul RVG that was straight up and down. So that was a lot better. I feel a lot more comfortable when I'm reaching over and I'm using the pressure switch. I ended up getting a new angled foregrip as well, which is this one, which is a clone of the Strike Industries Cobra angled forward grip, and has a little plate here so you can put up against walls or against a beam or something to hold your rifle stable. Really like this one. It's slimmer in the hand. It molds more to my rail, made it just a lot more comfortable. The next feature that I changed was right here. I got a new flashlight mount. This is from Element, and it's the 45-degree angle one. So now I was able to move my flashlight a little bit more forward because my mock suppressor here is back a little bit, and this plate can really only go up to this hole. So I couldn't have it mounted forward, so I got this mounting plate instead. And so you've seen all the other parts that I showed in my last video. My pressure switch, got it on strobe right now. And then I put on all my rails, and I've got a laser right there, red laser, and that's right for my thumb to use. So basically that was a lot of the upgrades that I did. Running with the SMP, because I don't have the Gen 2 of Inferno, which has the new nozzle type and everything in it. It basically, because it isn't as air efficient as the new Gen 2, this runs off the CO2 cartridge. I can run about 140 shots off a 363 millimeter barrel, and off the 509 barrel, I'm running about 120 shots. With the 509 barrel, I've set this up mostly so I didn't have to carry an air tank. I wanted to be a little bit lighter, and if I did sniping, I could, you know, I'm not going to be using that much air. If I'm sniping, I should be maybe going through 2 megs the most throughout a whole day. Should be sitting back and waiting for people. So, oh yeah, and I forgot about this. This is the other change I did. So originally I had this is a real steel Magpul Mo stock, and then I got a clone of the rear riser, and I like it. This is what I'm going to be using when I am using the CO2 stock, because I was able to unscrew the pad on the back, and then it's hollow, and then I can get to my cartridges. This slides down and on, and as you can see, once it's fully collapsed down here, I can reach in to get my CO2 in. But when I'm not using my CO2, I still have to have these in, CO2 cartridges in, and I got the new Mission First Tactical Minimalist stock, which I really like. I did this myself, put the paracord on there, and then just to match it up a little bit, that's why I've got the paracord up here on the front, just to style it up a little bit. I'm trying to think. There's my other mag. That's what I use when I would be using like in sniper mode. I've got like different like scopes that I use, like I showed before. This is for DMR. I have a longer range scope when I use for sniper mode, and then I got my bipod for sniper mode if I want to use it. It's either that or I would use the angle for grip. The Cobra Strikes one's there. Longer barrel as shown. Put in my longer barrel. Take off this suppressor. Put this on. Put the longer inner barrel on, and I'm good to go. Trying to think. Also, if I went to where I'm not using my air tank, I've made it so this can come off. I can unscrew it, and not that one, but this plate. I got a spare plate, so I can just cap it off, and then I don't have this catching up on anything. I'm trying to think. There was one more thing that I did. Oh yes, I switched out on my SMP. I switched out the nozzle. So as you can see here, I got an SMP nozzle M4. The original one's plastic. I don't really want to take it out of here because it's all greasy and stuff. But it's starting to chip a little bit because it's made out of plastic, and so when it's loading BBs. So I switched up to, well, I upgraded it. I thought I was getting a new plastic one, but the new nozzles for even for the SMPs are aluminum, and it just feeds the BBs a lot more steadier, it seems, and I haven't had any issues at all. So I'm really happy with the system. Other than if I did upgrade to a Gen 2 Inferno, probably most I would get out of it is air efficiency. This thing, I'm good up to easily 200 feet just in this mode, and when I add the longer barrel, I've reached out to 250 feet easily. And just, you know, the power of having HPA, it's amazing. And then having this ability with the wraith, this wraith is so much fun. I really like it. I'm so glad I got it, and it just, I don't know, a lot of money went into this project. I'm really happy with it. So basically that's it. If you want to know what else I've done to what other parts I have in here and such, like a speed trigger and such, I went all over that in my previous video, but this was just to update what the new updates I did to my rifle are. So thanks for your time, and have a great day.